Hey, a lot of other exciting stuff going on. We have this employee housing initiative.
Yeah, that was next off my lips. And that's, again, one of those issues that's been dogging us for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And there's no easy solution. Do you actually think there will be a solution? I know there's a committee, but a committee is just a committee. How about some...
It's pretty. This is a real tough one, and I think we've had a number of committee meetings. John Bowbrace is the chairperson of that committee. Got some great people on that committee. We have representation. Paulie McMichael from Kingfield, Jed Whiting from Eustis. So we've got. It's kind of an area. Regional,
which it has to be.
Which it has
a lot of these
yeah,
people are
that's
living,
right. A regional processing, but it's a tough one, and so we're going to town meeting on October 11th, coming right up. A special town meeting, and one of the items on there is to appropriate or expend $20,000 from the town's undesignated surplus to hire Cameron Associates to do a housing needs assessment and strategy. And so a lot of bullet points to that. But having said that, they felt very strongly that this was needed. They've done a similar study in MDI, Deer Isle, Lake Placid,
what did
other
they
places.
come up with for results from that?
Well, that's an interesting question. It's very difficult.
I know MDI's been an issue.
Yeah,
and
they've got they have, and they've got an implementation strategy that they're working on down there. Deer Isle has come up with a subdivision strategy that they're selling lots where the deed covenants are such that even if you buy into it, you can only sell to people of a certain income. There's some really creative stuff out there. If you really go looking beyond that to the Crested Buttes, to the steamboats, it's some pretty interesting stuff. Because of Airbnb, I want to just target them. There are other companies that do this. They've really put a crunch.
The whole concept of that. Yeah.
They've really put a crunch on employee housing, as you probably know. It wasn't too long ago where a lot of these second homes up here had a breakout, and they rented them out to employees for the winter. Well, there's much less of that now because they can make a lot more money with Airbnbs. So, but is that really the reason? Are they?
It was a problem before that, anyhow.
It was a problem before that, anyhow. So there are some creative solutions out there. Some of them. It's interesting to see some of what these other resorts communities. They actually have a lodging tax on short-term rentals and some other things. So there is some other things, real crazy stuff out there. Winter Park actually, what they do is they actually provide a stipend, a fairly large one, to people that rent to long-term housing rental. Oh, there's crazy stuff out there. But so when you ask what can we do to solve the problem, there's stuff out there, but some of it's very controversial. Lots of times
you're feeding the dragon when you're doing that in a way, aren't you?
I know. A lot of times what happens, a nonprofit gets developed, the nonprofit, and they look at hopefully low-cost, efficient housing that can be built as a nonprofit. Difficult in Caribasset Valley, land's expensive here, hard to find. Maybe Kingfield, maybe Eustis, and the nonprofits involved with that. And there's a whole layered funding for these things, both government and private, and sometimes private donations. Everybody realizes what a problem we have. I mean, the hours in restaurants are being curtailed. There's just a lot of stuff going on here.
It's getting worse instead of better.
It's getting worse instead of better. Anyway, I think I think it's great we're doing this, and I applaud the committee and everybody involved with this process. And
now that you're seeing what they're doing out west in some of those resorts, you realize it's
everywhere.
Got to go past the committee phase at some point.
It's everywhere. It's a tough nut to solve.